To God be the glory. Respected Reverend Dr. Rustam Kaiser Hind Jeffrey, DD, PhD, Advisor, International Mission Director. I read Pastor's writing, the book of Revelation is finished, and another writing is I'm reading to you. It's a title, is The Lamb Sent to Slaughter, Crucified Christ, and this is the one I'm just reading to you. Isaiah 50, chapter 50, verse 6. I gave my back to the smiters, and my cheek to them that plucked off my hair. I hid not my face for shame and spitting. And this word as a sign of a great contempt, and struck him in the face, and many other things they blasphemously spoke against him. Isaiah 56 and Luke 22:65. Soon after daybreak, and presumably at that temple, Jesus was tried before the religious Sanhedrins, council of Pharisees, Sadducees, and scribes, was again found guilty of blasphemy, a crime punishable by death. He was found guilty of blasphemy when he told them of his identity as the Son of God. He was sentenced to death. Jesus suffered ridicule from the palace guards, who spat on him and slapped him on the face. Mark 14:65. During the trial, Peter denied Jesus 3 times, and proceeding of Jesus' trial violated many of the laws of society. Among some of the broken laws were burgling. Not any arrested could not be made at night. The time and the date of that trial was illegal because it took place at the night on the eve of the Sabbath. A time precluded any chance for the required adjustment to the next day. In the event of the convictions, the Sanhedrin was without authority to instigate charges. It was only supposed to be investigate charges brought before it. In Jesus' trial, and a court itself formulated the changes, and the changes against Jesus would be changed during the trial. He was entirely charged with blasphemy based upon a statement that he would be able to destroy the temple, rebuild the temple of God within 3 days, as well as his claim to be a son of God when he was brought before Pilate. The charges was that Jesus was a king and they did not advocate paying taxes to the Romans. As stated above, the requirement of 2 witnesses in agreement to merit the death penalty was not met. The court did not meet it in the regular meeting place of the Sanhedrin as required by Jewish law. Christ was not permitted a defense under Jewish law. An exhaustive search into the facts presented by the witness should be accurate. The Sanhedrin pronounced the death sentence under the law, and the Sanhedrin was not allowed to be convicted and put to death sentence into effect. John 18:31. Since permission for the execution had become from the governing Roman, that every morning Jesus, battered, bruised, dehydrated, exhausted from the sleepless night, was taken across the Praetorium of the fortress of Antonia, and the residential of a governmental seat of Pontius Pilate, governor and the procurator of Judea. John 18:28. Pilate then ordered Jesus to appear before Herod Antipas and Tetrarch of Judea. Jesus apparently suffered no physical instrumental at the any hands of Herod was written to Pilate. It was then response to the cries of the mob. The Pilate ordered Barnabas freed and condemned Jesus to be scourged and be crucified. and the scourge was be Roman implemented for the several body punishment. It consisted of the handle with about a dozen leather cords with the jagged pieces of bones and with metals of each end to make the bows more painful and effective. The victim was tied to the post, and the blows were be applied to the back and the bowls. The flesh was cut in several places by each blow. So idiosis was the punishment that the victim often fainted or some died under it. It was designed to get confusion and be secret from its victim, but what could they get from the innocent, sinless one? Jews reduced this to 39 times, and the scourge used of Jesus at the 12 thorns, and he was hit each 39 times. It would be makes 468 stripes. It some of the struck in the same place and cut deeper each time. One can see how his body, because of the intensive hatred back of each blow, was marred more than any other man. And Isaiah and John 13:30 say, when he said Pilate unto them, take ye him and judge him according to your law. The Jews therefore said unto him, it is not lawful for us to put any man to death. And Isaiah 53:5, but he was wounded for our transgression, he was bruised for our iniquities, chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. And Romans 6:6 say, therefore we are buried with him by baptism into death, and like as Christ was raised up from the dead by the grace of God, grace of the Father, even so we also should walk in newness of life, knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that we henceforth we should not slave for sin. And Galatians 2:20, I am crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live yet not, but Christ liveth in me, and the life which I have now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. And God, because he loved us with everlasting love, he went through this painful and very, very shameful cross he took, and he died for us, shed his blood, and he rose again, and he is interceding for us, and we give our first love to our God. And thank you very much. May God bless you all richly. Amen.